going to show you a couple of bridge pose and Urdhva Danurasana setups and ways to work with the wall and a couple of blocks. A couple of things about setting this up just before I get started, since I know I'm going to use the wall, I'm going to measure out the distance and make sure that when I lie down, I can have my arms mostly straight, and in that way I can put the hands flat onto the wall. But I can also have a little bit of bend in the elbows so I can draw the elbows up towards the ceiling. In that way, I'm externally rotating the arms, but also hugging the upper arms in towards the midline. And those two actions will spread the shoulder blades wide on my back. And as I reach the hands into the wall and move into bridge pose, the shoulder blades lift open the back of the heart, so to speak. And in that way, you can breathe up into the upper back and flow into the back bend. So set up in bridge pose. The feet a little bit wider than the hips, so the outer heel in line with the outer hips, or just even a little wider. And at first, the feet or the ankle crease a little bit ahead of the front of the knee. The ankle crease a little ahead of the front of the knee. I'll place the hands on the wall and adjust the shoulders and fabric and anything here. So the shoulder blades are wide on the back. The elbows are reaching in towards the midline. But more importantly, it's that inner upper arm moving towards the midline, keeping the whole back broad. Hands can press into the wall, but there's also a sense like I could pull up from the wall a little bit. Step into the feet and exhale. With the inhale, start to come into the bridge. And here at first, I can really feel the back of the armpit drop back and the top of the shoulder blade drop back into the floor. The armpit hollowing back, so the arm bones on the floor as well. And I'm gazing ahead on the ceiling, the spot on the ceiling above the knees or above the belly button. I'm going to exhale, come on down. I'm going to scoot a little closer to the wall so my elbow bends just a little bit more. And in that way, I can bring the fingertip all the way to the floor gently. Elbows hug in, hands a little wider than the shoulders. Crease of the ankle, a little head of the knee. Exhale completely. With an inhale, start to come up into bridge. And as I inhale, again, I'm going to press the hands gently into the wall and have an equal sense of pulling the hands almost up the wall, which rounds the shoulder and brings the shoulder blades onto the back. So this is what's going to lift me off, but I'm not lifting off from here. Steady, even breath, even into the feet. One more inhale, and I'll exhale and come down. Then either on a different day or as you progress with this, I can put the pinky line against the wall. So I'm going to come just a little closer, but not so much that my head's touching, a few inches away. I can again stay with my hands on the wall. This is a little nicer on the wrist, working to open the shoulder blades and to stabilize the shoulder blades on the back. But imagining that's working pretty well. I can bring my hand to the floor, the pinky edge of the hand at the wall, with the fingers turned out. So initially, I'm going to turn the fingers out to the side, and this is going to help with the external rotation of the arm bone and the protraction of the shoulder blades wide on the back. Now I am going to bring the heels a little closer to the hips, but keeping the feet hips width apart. Exhale completely. With the inhale, start to come up onto bridge. And again, at first, really feel those armpits deepen back. The top of the shoulder blade, the back of the shoulder is on the floor. I could stay here breathing or exhale. And with an inhale, I'm going to press the elbows towards the wall and come up onto the crown of the head. Now, there's not very much weight at all on the crown of the head. Elbows still hugging in, shoulder blades wide. And eventually, that same process, I could come all the way up, taking the sternum initially towards the wall, and then allowing the sternum to come away from the wall as I lengthen up. To come down, I'll bend the elbows and send them back. Inhale the chin to the chest, and exhale, lower down, slowly coming all the way down, and release. And this is another way to work with the wall. And this time, I'm going to take blocks to the wall. I'm going to put them at an angle. And one thing that's nice about this room is I have this baseboard. So in a way, it can kind of catch the block as I set the block at an angle. But most walls, setting the block at an angle, the wall will keep the block steady. What you don't want is the block to slide out of the place. I'm going to line up so my head is just between the blocks, but not all the way against the wall quite yet. And it takes some measuring out. I put my hands on my block so I can tell I brought them a little wide. I'm going to squeeze them in just a little bit so that my elbows can stay in line right over the arm, or the shoulder rather, armpit. Good. I'm going to step the feet a little closer. Right? I don't need to tuck the heels right into the sitting bones. That, for me, is too close. Just like I don't want them too far away. So I could bring them in a little bit or just a little bit more. Hands onto the block, so the wrapping the shoulder blades wide on the back. The gaze is going right through the elbows and up to a spot ahead of me on the ceiling, a spot above the belly button or above the knee. Exhale completely. Back of the neck is long. At first, I'm going to come up like bridge. The head and shoulders on the floor. And when I press into the blocks, I want to initially ground the heads and the shoulders back. So I'm grounding the shoulders into the floor here. I'm not trying to push myself off the floor. I'm trying to get the shoulder blades to pick me up. So the shoulder blades lift the back. I can come to the crown of the head and readjust, or come all the way up. Gaze past the nose. Good. Before coming out, I'll bend the elbows a little bit. Inhale the chin towards the chest to get out of the way. Come on down to the shoulders and release all the way down. Eventually releasing the arm. And keep breathing there. You could take 2 or 3 more rounds working with that, or even then as a way to integrate, come into a more deliberate bridge pose where you're not trying to lift off, giving the wrist a break. After you come to neutral there, you could stay on the back and hug the knees, or you could sit up and begin to move into a counter pose of forward lift.